Hi, I'm Chuck Colson with this week's 2-Minute Warning. Recently, the magazine The Weekly Standard ran a superbly written, ultimately very depressing article entitled "The New Dating Game, Back to the New Paleolithic Age." The writer, Charlotte Allen, describes the modern dating scene in America. Well, dating is an old-fashioned word, I guess. The current term is hooking up, and yes, it implies much more than a goodnight kiss at the doorstep. In horrific detail, Allen describes how young college women and even professional women in their 30s and 40s now throw themselves at predatory males. Their goal is simple: go to bed with a good-looking guy, experiment with sex, be liberated from the prudish, old-fashioned ways that once enslaved women. But the irony here, as Allen so well notes, is that in their pursuit of freedom, these women end up becoming slaves to the men who simply use them for pleasure. What an irony! For 40 years, feminists have placed freedom for women, especially sexual freedom, at the top of their agenda. Well, I wonder if they really now have gotten what they thought they wanted. In the meantime, is it any wonder that so many women who have been spoon-fed feminist ideology in the classroom, in front of TV, or at the supermarket magazine rack are having to wait longer and longer to get married? Is it any wonder that when they're ready to stop sleeping around and settle down, that more and more men aren't so ready? After all, the men have got plenty of access to sex without all the nagging responsibilities of marriage and family. Here's another case where along came a utopian worldview, Freud reincarnated, who says that sexual inhibitions merely repress people. So if you release all those inhibitions, you'll be free. Well, the feminists bought this, took Freud at his word. And what happened? A whole new culture of cavemen who drag women off for pure sexual gratification. This is what happens, you see, with every false utopian worldview. You want to be free, you want to be liberated, you want to fulfill every desire, but when you do, you find yourself living in a situation that violates the natural and moral order. It leaves you imprisoned. You can't live with it. So how do we argue that the Christian worldview is true? We say it conforms to reality. It allows people to live in a rational way. And every time we try to bend it or twist it according to some ideology, or as in the case of Freud, some new worldview, we end up distorting not only what it means to be human, we end up in misery. And because of this new dating game, we can see the contrast so clearly. Being used, on the one hand, the result of the Freudian and feminist worldview, or being loved, the result of the Christian worldview lived out in healthy, faithful marriage. I'm Chuck Colson. That's this week's 2-Minute Warning.